Hello, welcome back to the channel. Life is hard, don't complain. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you find yourself watching this video. Today, we have an unboxing for you. The Frenzy by Cold Steel. This is I don't know, probably the third iteration that Cold Steel has done. What attracted me to this guy is it's in 3V steel. So as we get into, we can talk a little bit more about steels and things like that, but triad lock, overall length 8 inches, blade length 3.5 inches, weight 2.7 ounces, 3.3 millimeters as far as the thickness. The handle is 4.5 inches G10. So let's get into this guy. And I have its big brother here. We'll do a comparison. This is the Frenzy 2, and this is in S35VN. I don't want to cut myself because this knife, like most Cold Steels, is very, very sharp. So let's take a look-see at our Cold Steel Frenzy. Typical things on the box: warranty, made in Taiwan, address. Put the box over there. Okay. Reversible pocket clip, so they didn't send two. Triad lock. This is black G10. So this knife, you know, I had a Frenzy. Why did I need another Frenzy? Well, I'm not trying to make this a big comparison video, but we'll just look at them as it stands. You know, as far as an EDC knife goes, let's kind of limit it to that. This is a huge knife. I mean, but as you can tell, the opening of this sucker is challenging. You know, it's around, this knife is a little over 12 inches long, give or take. It's kind of dirty, so hold on. Okay, but beautiful knife. It's very, very mean. Let me put it in the frame. But if you saw, you know, as I opened it, it took me a little bit. But this guy should be, well, it's brand new, so oh, there is a significant scratch on this blade. Huh. I don't know if we can see it here. Don't know if that's, it looks a little more than cosmetic. Rubbing on it, it doesn't feel as if the blade is damaged, but boy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to address that. Not happy with that. But let's talk about the knife itself. We're gonna how did that get through QC? But yeah, I mean, this whole thing on this side as well. Interesting. Cold Steel, triad lock, does not, triad locks are just synonymous with hard use and reliability, trustworthiness. This knife, it feels very nice in the hand. It's got the deep carry pocket clip. Not bad. Does not feel, I mean, maybe a tiny hot spot, maybe, but not bad. And you know, besides, it's very sharp. Besides for this little imperfection here on both sides of the blade. But this is you know, a knife that is built for penetration. I mean, look at that blade, is wicked. It's almost 3.5 inches of cutting surface, but I think anyone who is interested in this blade, it's the point. I mean, that the ease of entry with a point like this, I think, is not something that will be disputed. Ergonomics are very nice. This knife is very nimble for as overly engineered heavy. It's not heavy, okay, but it feels solid. G10. I think that's just a plastic or synthetic backspacer, but all in all, it's a very solid knife. We'll have to, gonna have to look at this, because I'm definitely not pleased with that. And I just so happened to purchase a magnifying glass, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to utilize it for the camera, but that sucker is definitely gouged. That's a gouge in the coating. And it's hard to tell if there's something on the blade. Like it, I mean, it almost looks like glue was dropped on this guy. But on this side, you can see a microscopic little divot where that is in fact a blade imperfection. And you know, as it stands now, I am persnickety about the knives I buy and the QA/QC process of the companies that put these things out. And I know it's a mass-produced item, but you know, we shouldn't have to settle for things that you know, should readily have been caught. So you know, I did pick this up through Amazon, and you know, if you've seen my other videos, I've mentioned some missteps or hit or misses from Amazon. So this is not Amazon's fault. It's not a fake knife. It's not a clone or anything like that. This is an issue with Cold Steel's QA/QC. Straight up. So shame on y'all, Cold Steel. And I'm a fan. I am a fan of Cold Steel products. I have more than I should probably on Cold Steel. And you know, I'm doing my level best to see if that is something that would come off, and it does not, because that is, excuse me, that is on the blade. So, you know, this knife retails for around $140. I did not pay that much for it, but you know, this is not, while it's not a premium knife price, it's not a budget knife price either. So for me, I expect better, and I will demand better. You know, it's not so hard to put out something that does not have a defect. So this ended up being not, you know, if you could see that, you know, it looks like something is on the blade. But it's not coming off like it, you know. Here you can actually see. You see those divots? That should not be. See, that blade should be smooth. That, especially that edge right there. And you can see a couple of QC issues there. So this video is ending up being less of a review of the knife itself, because I will say I like this knife. I like it, and I will replace it with an additional knife. Now what I may do, as I'm learning the editing process better of these videos and things like that, I may just come back to this video at the end and have a new video with the replacement knife. Just depends on what Amazon does. They've been good with returns, so I will report back, and then we can talk a little bit more about this knife, and we may compare it to its big brother right there. So with that being said, life's hard, don't complain. I'm not complaining about this, but I'm not necessarily pleased with it. So till next time, take care. Okay, we are back in much shorter order than I thought. Thank you to my friends at Amazon. They accepted my return, so I got this replacement in one day. So that's really cool. So let's, I won't belabor it. Let's get into this guy. The packaging looks exactly like the other ones. This package is a little bit more beat up, but these are tiny boxes. So that's okay. We'll let them slide. Okay, a lot of packing grease on this guy. Exterior scan looking. The blade is almost perfectly centered. Does not appear to really have any, a little scuff right there, but that's not a big deal. So, ooh, its action is very tight. But let's see the blade here. All right, you guys are gonna help me look. Hopefully that is not blurry. That's a cool little effect how the edge shines. Okay. All right. Look, I'm not gonna put this thing under a microscope, and it's not gonna help me anyway because it's just gonna blur. But this does not have the same issue. Now, what I'll say is this one is a little stiffer than the other one. Break-in period is going to take a little while. And if you're new to cold steel knives, here's my little Tough Light by Cold Steel. I've done a review on this guy. AUS 8A steel, Taiwan. This is CPM-3V steel, Taiwan. This is my official box opener for most things. It's a great little knife. Overbuilt, tough, good. Okay, but this guy, if you have not had a cold steel before, this is the famous triad lock where, it is super duper secure, won't close in on you, very difficult to fail. Cold Steel has some very cool videos where they mount weights to the back of their knives with the triad lock and see how many pounds it takes to actually break the triad lock. And I think there have been upwards of 300-400 pounds, maybe even 500 pounds. But for a knife this size, it's doubtful you're gonna have that issue. Now, I had a counterfeit Cold Steel that we had a long video about. And one thing I discovered on that counterfeit is the triad lock that looked like a triad lock was not a triad lock. And I pushed here and it closed right on top of my finger. But one way to test is I'm smacking the hell out of that spine and it didn't flinch. So legit Cold Steel goodness. This knife is I think the blade is a Warncliffe style blade, or somewhat of a reverse Tanto style, but stabby. We like stabby things here, remember. Pocket clip is a deep carry, like I said earlier with the other knife. It's okay. It's not necessarily the best. It right here, if we can, that kind of digs in right there if I'm really gripping. So potential for a little hot spot right there with this pocket clip. And to be honest, Cold Steel is known for these overbuilt, kind of funky pocket clips. I thought I had another Cold Steel up at my desk, but I guess I don't. So, but that's okay. Anyhow, the the business end of this knife is the important part. With the 3V steel, it is strong as hell. Gonna hold an edge really well. Really like this knife. Like its big brother, the Frenzy 2, which I had in the earlier part of this video, but this is a lot more easy to handle. And, rapid deployment would be fairly simple with this guy. Now, one thing that I'm considering would be to put the Emerson Wave or a snaggletooth clip on here. So what that does is it catches, as you pull it out of your pocket, it catches on your material and deploys the knife as you pull it up. So, even faster deployment, but I don't know yet. And oh, what I was going to say earlier, if you have a cold steel that has the triad lock and the action is stiff or super tight, trick that I've learned is open the knife at 90 degrees and leave it for a day, 2 days if you can. It just takes a little bit of that spring tension out. Not enough to impact the reliability of the lock, but will give you a little bit snappier deployment. You know, if you wanted to, you could monkey with the Torx pivot right here to make it a little looser, but you know, I think with most of these knives, some good KPL oil, you know, just slight oiling of the knife, and then fidget with it. You know, this knife is small enough. And look, to you purists who are like, oh, you're putting too much oil, whatever. I do this, and I do it here as well. I do this on all my folding knives, even my Microtechs, even the higher end folders, just so I got some fresh oil in there, because sometimes these are packed with a very heavy, almost like, you know, if you're ever into firearms, you know, your device will be full of packing grease, not necessarily oil. So when it comes to things like that, I like to actually disassemble and strip it down and reassemble and re-oil. But that's just me. Anyway, so this knife is a tool. It's not a bushcrafting tool, although the spine is not a sharp, but it is a 90-degree spine, so a ferro rod probably will be responsive to this thing. It's just, this knife is purpose-built. Very small, easily concealable, you know, disappears in your hand, and once you have the action the way you want it, easy to deploy and poke things. You get my drift. So, with that being said, second attempt at the Frenzy in 3V, I will deem a success. This new replacement version, wicked sharp point, strong triad lock, very much recommended. You could catch this on Amazon, you could catch this on Knife Center, Blade HQ, Midway USA, a ton of different knife retailers, Atlantic Knife, I think, and I you know, on sale, these things go right $110, $115. I don't recall. I think the normal retail is about $135. And another thing, unless Cold Steel is offering a crazy sale promotion, I recommend you go to their website to discover new knives and see what you like. But I think the point of their website is to drive you to their retailers, because most of the time the Cold Steel pricing is not nearly as good as you can find it from an authorized reseller. So just food for thought. You know, I'd like to assist people with, you know, exploring a knife they may be interested in, and then making an economical purchase, and hopefully to a dealer who supports like-minded folks and tries to promote, you know, Cold Steel. It was bought by a large conglomerate, but it is the origin is USA made, you know, Cold Steel is starting to make some more USA in-country knives, which is a very positive development in my opinion. But the ones that they've been making knives in Taiwan a long time, and I can't really bash them about that, because unfortunately, knife, if you're a collector, if you're looking for a serious tool, and you only will buy USA made products, you know, it's going to limit your budget is going to be, you know, limited to things in the $200-300. I mean, there's Bear & Sons out of Alabama that they make some pretty cool pocket knives, but they are very mass produced, and no slight against Bear & Sons and like Buck and things like that. You know, Kershaw, but Kershaw seems to do more Chinese than USA, and I get it. But anyway, I try my best to support these USA owned companies, and I hope that the environment will be more conducive to bring, even if it's gradually, but bring manufacturing back to the US. Because I think young men are a little disillusioned with going to college these days, and probably for good reason. And, you know, it would be great to be able to go, and especially if you have interest in knives, wouldn't it be cool to go and work at a knife factory, make knives, have input, things like that? I think it would be cool. So anyway, I thank you for your indulgence. I know this video probably ran long because this is an edited version, because the first knife had a flaw that I would not accept. And thank you, Amazon, for making it right. So with that being said, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. I'm trying to put out 2 or 3 videos a week nowadays. I have a large backlog of knives that I will be getting to. So anyway, that being said, remember, life is hard. Don't complain. Till next time, take care.